So my name is Matthew Kane. I'm with Isudo Technology Solutions. And since we've been working with businesses over the years to try to make sure that they qualify for their renewal, we put in a lot of these security measures in place. So let's go into detail what that looked like. I'm going to share you an application by a carrier called Tokyo Marine. In that application, the cyber insurance application is very similar. So this is Tokyo Marine's cyber insurance application. If you look at this is what they call the short form application. That being said, even though it's short, it has up to 7 pages. And typically as a business, they want you to know, okay, what type of corporation you are, your revenue, what you made last year, what you made this year. And here's where they start asking some of the detail. Records refers to the number of data that you store onto your system. So this includes what type of information you store and whether they consider sensitive information is anything that can be used to identify an individual, whether that is their, name, date of birth, social security, bank records, email information. All of these are considered sensitive information by the carrier, and they want to know how many records they have electronically or they have on paper. Thus, we either have to do a security risk assessment to scan their server, scan their cloud storage, and to identify how much of that is being saved. And one of the things I can tell you is that it is very challenging, since sometimes the records are being created by different individuals, so no one single person or organization may or may not realize how much they have. Other information they want is to know, who do you work with in your IT department? Who's responsible for the network security of your organization? This is where, if you don't have a dedicated IT provider, this is where we come in, because most businesses, unless they have a full-time IT person plus somebody who's responsible for IT security, they may or may not realize the importance of having somebody who understands the security. Most individual who just works on IT may or may not know what sensitive information. They know how to fix a computer, they know how to install printer or install their iPads and all that. As a security person, there's a lot others involved in preventing a cyber attack. And that person has to be willing to sign off who's dedicated. And here's where the thing is, you have to sign off that you have these security measure in place. This print name and signature is not the IT person. They want the business owner. They want the person who's filling out this application. Then we start going to the information and network security controls. And they want to know if you're hosting with a cloud provider. So cloud provider could include, let's say, Microsoft 365. It could include Dropbox. It include AWS or Google Drive. All of that are some of the providers that they are looking for. And if you're storing that, they want to know, are you encrypting the data when it's at rest and when you're probably sending out anything sensitive in an email? So it's important you have and understand what that means. Do you encrypt all sensitive and confidential systems stored on your organization system and network? If not, do you segment them, meaning that you separate the information that's being sensitive off of the network so that only a few people who has access to that? And we see this happen as often. If you are, let's say, using some legacy application that cannot be encrypted, you may have to segment that by making sure that server is limited to a few people and it's not accessible from everyone. That's what network segmentation means. Now we get into number 7. Ransomware control starts with your email provider. They want to know, how are you protecting when you get a new email? Do you scan for malicious links and attachments? Do you verify that these emails are not, have any malicious code that can actually, what they call, detonate the attachment in a sandbox? So you test that before it gets sent to your users. And of course, do you have multi-factor authentication when you access your email through a web application or a non-corporate device? And here's the thing, MFA is not just for email. They're also asking, how do you access your stuff remotely through remote desktop protocols or through VPN, virtual private network? So these are some of the things that they're asking. What do you have